Do you have questions that devs can answer about Tuco Salamanca? Hello.
Yeah, what's going on?
You want to say who you are, and then that lets me adjust audio levels for the chat.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm Shaun. I'm the game director on 2XKO.
Chat says hi, Sean. Oh, we have a new challenger. What up?
Oh fuck, dude. I was on the server but not in this channel, but I thought I was in this channel. So I was like doing the talkie thing and nothing was never mind. I'm so bad at Discord.
Hey,
For
well, they
sure.
made it look more like Slack now, which I hate, by the way, because it makes me think it's work.
Dude, my whole life is in Slack. We have a family Slack.
That's not good. You should.
Oh,
I'm gonna just veto that real quick. First of all, how you two doing?
Ah, doing well. Yeah, how are you?
Good.
good.
I watched an hour long video with like everybody's faces on it. It was good.
Yeah, that was our passive aggressive way of appeasing folks. We're like, oh, you want updates, huh? Okay, we'll just talk at you for an hour about everything we've been doing. It was
No, it
great.
was great. Honestly, love that. We should just make that a weekly thing.
Ben and our publishing team would die.
Yeah. But Chad did have some questions for you guys if you want to try to answer for us. And if you can't answer, just say, I can't answer. Somebody wanted to ask, when you go to these ranked lobbies, can you sit in a cabinet and be in training mode while waiting? Or do you have to use the button that says, like, I go play a human now?
There's no training mode in these lobbies. It's primarily because you get matches pretty darn quickly. By the time you would even get into training mode, you would probably be in a match. On top of that, we got a lot of good feedback that people just like the loop of, hey, let me play a match, let me watch. And queue up for another one while I'm watching. That's what we're going to start with and try.
When you're in the lobby normally, you just like sit down and you can play someone, or you can queue up. In the ranked one, can you sit down and play someone, or do you just like hit the button to matchmake?
It only has one way to play, which is clicking the find a match button, and it
Okay.
will queue up against folks in that lobby. We thought that was pretty important, even though the casual lobby lets you, direct challenge or cabinet queue. It's pretty bad feel when people are like cherry picking like good matchups. We wanted to start without being able to do that.
On that topic, if I click find match, I see that my opponent is some guy I don't want to play because I know I'll lose, and then I just bail. Do I lose something?
You'll have to wait and see. I want to see what people feel like when they experience it for the first time.
That already sounds like a good answer to me. I can probably guess what's going to happen then, because as we all know in other lobby modes that are like ranked matches, yeah, you can dodge people pretty easily and just play favorable matchups. So that was like the first thought that I had for playing a ranked mode.
The reason why we're doing Alpha Lab 2 is to test and get your like fresh read
Mhm.
on ranked things that weren't in the game in Alpha Lab 1. We don't want to anchor you on any perception before you actually get in there and play.
I like that. Somebody suggested that if they choose to not play you, like an air horn should play that calls it like wee woo wee woo. I like that.
Put their gamer tag up on the big screen.
No, just shame them on the board. Like the fraud alert goes off. Oh, that'd be pretty good.
If you're in that ranked lobby, you're just trying to really get some highly competitive, fair matches, and just see if you can progress through it. But, we also think like some of the magic is like being able to see if someone's on a win streak, being able to watch a match, maybe you just lost against someone you want to see their next match. We're going to try to find a great balance, and we'll need the feedback to do it from y'all.
Speaking of feedback, I see some people who are like, why do you guys have the lobby like this? And why can't I just hit play button and find match? Do you guys have thoughts about that?
We were just talking about this today, like literally. One of the big bets we have is we want to try to bring like the vibe of playing fighting games the way that we all love playing fighting games, like together with a bunch of people at a local or a weekly or whatever. We want to try to bring those vibes into the actual video game. And that's why we're building lobbies in the first place. And we were excited in Alpha Lab to see that like a lot of y'all took the place seriously. People tended to care about what they put their avatar in, people taking selfies by the leaderboard. And so it started to feel, hopefully a little bit like you're playing a fighting game with other humans like you would offline. And we think that's really an exciting thread to pull on and see how far we can go. And when you add competition, like what you get in ranked, little extra stakes, stories that you have with other players, I think could be even more powerful, right? I think, well, that's why you have tournaments, right? Pretty clear. We're learning at the same time as you guys are like playing and experiencing this stuff. And so there are a lot of things that we're gonna have to get right to make that like really the best it can be, like obvious questions about like competitive integrity and stuff like that. And we know that those are things that we have to solve for. We're gonna go down this road and see where it takes us because we think if we can solve those problems, then playing 2x session to session can feel really different because you'll be playing with like different groups of people and kind of get to know them.
Makes sense to me. That's a good answer. And also for anybody who feels some kind of way, I mean, feedback is important, right? Like if they play it and they love it or they hate it, they can let you guys know.
Let us know, like, do you think hitting that play button in the ranked lobby gets you a match quickly enough or not?
Yeah.
Something that we want to keep an eye on and get your thoughts on.
When I hit find match in the lobbies for this game, I found matches faster than even games where you just sit in training mode and do it. But some other people don't have that experience. So like, yeah, I'm curious what it's like for them. And somebody who's lived in the same region as me said that. So I wonder if it was like because I was in like a higher or lower MMR lobby, like people queued up faster or lower or like whatever the case may be. I'm curious about that. I have a gameplay question that got asked a lot. What happens when someone who's in Juggernaut does snapback on another Juggernaut player?
Nothing. They just get launched into the air.
Okay.
It was funny, like during one of the takes that didn't make it into the video, we accidentally had Juggernaut versus Sidekick, and we were showing off eject with Juggernaut, and it didn't do anything. I was like, yeah, we need to recut that, reshoot that one.
Oh, somebody asked a cool question about the lobby. Any plans if we can bet some form of currency in the lobbies, like spectating or something, like some fun side currency, or like make wagers in the lobby?
Is that something like folks would want to see? Let us know.
Being able to vote who you think would win, I think would be fun.
I think the broader point is when you're in a space with a bunch of other people, you can do fun things with those other people around playing the fighting game. Saltybet, right?
Yeah.
Saltybet is interesting not because of like the high quality gameplay. It's the funsies of like betting on these ridiculous outcomes with other people. Saltybet by yourself isn't any fun. That's like the promised land that we're trying to get to, is where ultimately like you can have like fun activities with other players. It's going to take us a while to get there, but that's why we're going down this path.
I had another gameplay question that I was going to ask. First of all, I think a lot of people think Juggernaut and Sidekick are cool. I asked my chat, like, how many of you, when you boot up a game like this, just want to play one character and would play Juggernaut? And like, there's like an astounding number of people who are like, sick, I just want to play Juggernaut. Or like, I played the last time and I didn't want to play two characters, so I would just play like my one character, and then like when they died, I was like kind of sad. I don't want to play a versus game and learn two characters. So like, there's like an astounding amount of people that want to play that, so I think that's cool, and I think people will have fun with it. But like for Juggernaut, what is like kind of the goal of the power of something like this? Are you guys worried it might be too strong? Are you cool with it being as strong as playing two characters? Like, what's kind of the feeling on that?
Just want to remind folks, like with Sidekick, we really created just because people wanted to either just learn a champ by itself and maybe try to call an assist on occasion. Like people generally learn a character, then they learn how to call an assist. Then they learn how to like switch out instead of one character dies and another character dies. And then the final like boss is often, oh, I can handshake tag when I call this character out. Once folks get comfortable with that, that's when at least we found that the light bulb really turns on. You're like, oh, this is sick. So much that when people learn that they're handshake tagging even when they shouldn't be and their health is too low. Sidekick with that kind of like support idea, and Juggernaut, just we got some real feedback that even just like picking another character and having to look into two character kits and having to find assists that fit, there's like a tax there. And so folks are like, yeah, where I come from, these games, I only have to really focus on one character at a time. And that's how I like to learn fighting games. We came up with Juggernaut. I heard some comments around, man, eject feels powerful because you can get a mix up on them when they come in. That feels really strong. I'll tell y'all, it's tough. Like fighting against two champions that can assist and handshake tag. Handshake tag is really powerful. So you being by yourself in Juggernaut, it's a pretty big challenge. And so I would say that like Sidekick and Juggernaut are viable, but it's a little bit of an uphill battle, like thinking about like that. Sidekick, I think, will surprise a lot of folks. When you do, I think I maybe incorrectly called it an internal name in the video, combo softener. I think we actually call it brace is the real name for it. When you time your button presses as the person off screen in Sidekick and you reduce the damage, things like that, I think people will be surprised. We can kind of do some stuff here, super into super, things like that.
Someone asked, like, how much do you reduce when you do it? And can you reduce chip damage with it? With Sidekick?
I actually forgot the percentage. Clock is going to kill me because, we've obviously been tuning stuff. Yeah, I don't know how to interact with chip either. I'd have to double check on those things.
Okay.
We didn't cover this in the video because it was already too long, but there's a lot of balance changes to champions as well. And so I'll just give you like one quick one. Speaking of chip, Darius chip, percentage will go from 15% to 10%. Just trying to reduce some of the things that felt a little unfair, or like Darius down S2. Being able to do a super even when it's blocked. You can't do that anymore. Like once you commit and it's blocked, like you're in trouble. Things of that nature, and you'll see that across the board with many champs.
One thing that we saw in testing Sidekick, folks who are new to tag genres, by being the support character, they got to like learn when was the right time to call an assist, because that's the only thing that they're focused on. And then to Shaun's point about like learning the game in chunks, like, okay, once you have that, then maybe you have a little bit more confidence to play as a solo eventually, right? Or, be a better teammate when you're on point, because you're like, okay, I kind of understand the rhythm of how teamwork works. I can focus on learning my character because I have that in the bank. And so basically we found different players learn pieces of the game in different order. And so that was just a side benefit, no pun intended, of like having both Sidekick and Juggernaut, even though, they're kind of overlappy.
When you learn a tag game, we all know like you learn a character first, and then you got like half of another character. Sidekick is like perfect for that, right? Because you're like, I don't know how to play my second character. I can just like call assist and then play like the character I do know how to play.
Yeah, and you can do crazy stuff like win round one with your more familiar character and then switch out to get a round practice on your side character and then switch back in round 3 if you lose.
Yeah, that's actually a good option select. I like that. You like always start with the character you know more or less of and then like swap depending on if you're winning or losing. You're just like, all right, cool.
Someone asked a really great question in your chat about Juggernaut. Hey, what if you have a partner and they just pick Juggernaut? Is it spectate mode? This is actually one of the cool things about Sidekick and Juggernaut. Because like before the round starts, you can quick tag into your other character. You can actually do that in both of those modes. Like Sajam, you and I could be on a team and I pick Darius, your Echo, let's say, and you're literally just like cheering me on. You're watching me play, but I'm getting destroyed. At the beginning of the next round, I'm going to like quick tag at the start of the round, and now you are the Juggernaut, the solo Juggernaut player.
Somebody also asked a good question on that. Two things, like one, can you do the brace effect when you're solo as a sidekick, or is it only when you have another person?
Again, this is one where I had to double check.
Okay.
There was one point internally where you could do it. I had to see if you can still do it.
And then the other thing is, can you play local duos in the game? So like if you're going to duo locally and play online, can like me and my friend be on my couch at my house and then go play online?
Not right now. That's something that we've heard about from a lot of folks. They're like, I just want to play with my friend on my couch and just jam for an online session. It's something we may add in the future, but it's not something we're looking at currently.
Also about rank, it said that you can duo through Grandmaster. It didn't say Challenger. Can you not duo if you're Challenger players?
Should be able to. That's one I could double check on right now. Give me just a sec.
Okay.
I can answer you by the end.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that's a yes because like I think Grandmaster players are challengers if you're the top X% of Grandmasters or top number of whatever.
The doing with someone is interesting. For ranked, you're like a high plat player and I'm just like coming up here in silver, but we still want to play together. But the assumption is, hey, if we're going into ranked together, you and I'm going to have a tougher time. We're going to be playing like where you're at. That's one of the things to keep in mind if you're doing together in ranked and your ranks are pretty disparate like that.
You guys mentioned in the video that you're looking to do another test closer to launch. My assumption is that for people looking to play in other regions, that or the launch itself probably makes more sense. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say before we launch that we'll do a large scale playtest that's designed mainly to make sure that everything works before starting the game, right? The exact countries and everything else to be determined, but the idea is that it is a big test.
Is there voice comms?
Let's talk about voice comms. I mean, I'm very curious to see what people think because, some of the things, the conversation we're having in the team is like, well, everyone else already has Discord, right? But then what would you really like to see?
I think my initial thought, if you're duoing with someone, then you should be able to opt into voice comms or not. That being said, I'm sure some people want open mic with everybody in the lobby at the same time. Some people want like open mic in your match. I said that there should be proximity chat in the game. If my opponent is Jinx full screen, you should hear me like across the screen, like, let me in, like just yelling from across the map. Like I think proximity chat would be really funny, but also evil doer behavior. But the real answer for me, at least opt-in for duos would be very nice. Like lobby voice chat is like a whole other question. I can only imagine what that experience is like generally, but it might be kind of cool.
A lot of y'all like told us that got to play Alpha Lab 1. There was kind of this duo play moment where you finally found that synergy with your duo partner, and a lot of y'all found it on Discord together. Of course, there were people that found it with like a stranger they just played against that they duo together with. We heard that it was a lot harder. Having that way to communicate lets you get there more quickly. Like, hey, watch out, I'm about to follow up your super, with mine or things like that. So I'm calling my assist. Here comes the Braum shield. Yeah, it's something we've definitely been listening to and considering.
I saw someone ask a funny question. Is it possible to be a challenger only watching your Juggernaut friend playing? So you duo with someone and they play Juggernaut and you never play the game and you just are playing ranked with them? That's a very funny...
Wait a minute. Could a sufficiently good challenger player basically farm up unlimited duo partners to Challenger.
Yeah, the Yumi strat.
What are we gonna do, Shaun?
I need to see someone get there. Someone needs to
Okay.
get to Challenger in Alpha Lab 2 and Juggernaut, and someone else just big chilling.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want to see them switch. Ever, you know?
Just like yeah, like I'm Challenger and it's like 0 minutes played.
Someone asked, can you push assist while you're in Juggernaut? And the answer is you can push block. It's the old push block. So it costs 1 meter. The other character doesn't come out and do anything. You just push them away. It's actually really fun. You know, one of the things with Juggernaut is being able to do your own super into super or super into ultimate. And it's like not something you see even with Double Down unless you like really manufacture it with an assist and then do some other like funky stuff. So there's actually like surprisingly fun, you know, to figure out like positions and different combinations in that way with a single champ.
This super into super thing reminded me. How does that affect Yasuo, by the way? Because like I know ultimates are 3 bars now, and he had like the 1 bar and the 2 bar before. Is that gone? Has that changed?
It's still there. It scales appropriately compared to raw. The thing to keep in mind is like let's just go back to Juggernaut for a second. Say you have 5 bars. If you do like Yasuo's S2 super, and then you immediately hit S1 plus S2, you will like cancel into the really strong, you know, level 3, and you'll use those bars. However, if you hold up plus S1, S2, he will do the old 2-bar cancel, and it will be prorated. That extension is just too sick, and it's a shout out to Yasuo in League, especially.
Right.
You know, doing his combo into his ultimate. We really wanted to keep it.
One thing about the game that changed is that supers are no longer emotion inputs, like downs are gone. Have the supers changed a lot because of that? Like, has the balance on the supers had to change?
Like ever so slightly. It surprisingly didn't change a lot. I mean, you'll see things like you saw in the Jinx part of the video for her zap, you know,
Yeah.
super, S2 super. It doesn't do anywhere near as much as, you know, the fireworks getting into the sweet spot. So if things that are that quick and that much screen coverage and hit like both characters,
Yeah.
you know, they need to be attuned accordingly. But yeah, not a lot of changes in that regard. I know there was a lot of folks saying, you know, hey, down isn't that hard. Why did y'all change this? I mean, we really want to make the game feel good on every peripheral. A surprising number of people play on controller, you know, and they use analog stick. And down on analog stick is not good, you know. So it was like something we heard a lot of, and there were a couple other peripherals outside of you know, controllers as well. Let us know what you think about the inputs when you try them.
I think people just hate down inputs. Like it's like one of the inputs that I see from like literally every game that people hate the most. I personally don't care, but like if people don't like them, then you know, I think it makes a lot of sense to change them. Oh, is rank character specific or like account specific?
It's account.
Just your account. Okay. I figured that would make sense.
It gets really messy if you know, start duoing with folks and have a character and then go back to solo and things like that, and just decide to keep it simple to start with account.
People asked, I don't know, this will probably be something you guys can't ask, but there was a lot of questions about unlocking characters.
You'll have some champs at default, you know, unlocked, and then you'll be able to just play the game and unlock the rest. It's pretty darn quick, to be honest. I have to double check, but I think like if you do the tutorial, you'll get like a champ token, so you'll get to pick one to unlock outside of the unlocked default ones right away. We really want you to be able to find a champ or two that you're excited about right away. And then, you know, as you want to try more, you can unlock them and play.
Somebody asked, they think the current champion pool feels small. Are you guys working on more champions? That's probably a pretty easy question to answer.
Tom, should I really answer this question?
No, you need to give them the big PR answer to avoid the question entirely. Yeah, just tell them.
The answer is we're going to release this game with 10 champions. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I know it seems like a low number. I know, trust me. But honestly, we'd rather just get the game out to y'all to play ASAP instead of keeping it in the oven until we have some number higher of champions. We're pretty excited based on what we've heard even already from Alpha Lab 1 and other tests where we got a lot of fuse action and there's solo and duo play. So there's just a lot of ways to play the characters that we already have. And we play them a lot internally. On top of that too, we're a live service game. So champion train is going to start once we're out the door and in your guys' hands. We'd rather get it to you and do that instead of just hold it for longer. It's not just champions, you know, there might be new fuses. There might be gameplay changes. You know, we're still trying to work out how frequently, you know, we want to change the game. But just being frank with you, we've definitely, you know, played fighting games since the dawn of time, and we've seen games where change is way too infrequent, and a couple examples where it was way too frequent and folks just burned out. And so we're trying to find a sweet spot in between there and what degree of change as well. But again, like the live service, portion of our game gives us that opportunity to hear from y'all and find a good sweet spot.
Yeah, makes sense. I think a lot of people, if you've played other Riot games, especially stuff like Valorant, that game changed very frequently when the game was newer. But like the longer it was out, the less there was like super big updates. I expect something similar to that, where like if this game needs lots of changes, then there'll be lots of changes. If it doesn't, then like there won't need to be, right?
Absolutely. Everybody just wants to play. We want y'all to play. Getting a game out to the entire world is pretty complicated, to be honest. And so I couldn't be more proud of the team, but that's why we're just, really happy to chat with y'all today and get this video out and take these steps to get there.
Look, no one wants this video game to come out more than me. No one on the planet, I guarantee you. But we are building like everything from scratch. Of course, we're in Unreal, but we built our own fighting game engine. We built our own, server-based rollback working stack. Even things like, our progression systems, all the fighting mechanics, every new character is brand new. And so we had to learn a lot to like get the game to the quality level that we all like want to deliver for y'all. Go back to the very first announced trailer, which had Jinx in it. And you can see like how much like effort like our creative department and the whole team has put into like just continuing to make the game as good as it can be. And then when it gets to that point, that's when we'll release it. That's why we've been on such a long development train, because we're quality driven, and this is why we did the thing at Riot, is because they would like let us do that. But now we're at the point where we're really happy with the response we're hearing from you, and we feel like things are coming together. And so now it's like, as I said in the video, this is the point where we're just putting in all the rest of the stuff that needs to be built so that you can actually have like something beyond core gameplay that's going to be like fun for a long time. And the second we get there, we'll release the game. And like Shaun said, like that means 10 champions, but that's just the beginning, and we're going to continue to add more. That's why we're a live service game.
Y'all have no idea how much crazy stuff this team is doing to me with these champions and fuses. Like it's like literal war crimes. I'm just getting destroyed constantly and surprised and delighted while getting destroyed. So that's just our internal team, which means that y'all are going to find like even crazier stuff. I know it. And that's what gives me confidence to, to get this in your hands, in that sense, with a smaller
Apology man
roster.
emojis in my chat are cracking me up.
There's like our game analysis team folks, like these legends like Apology Man. There's like, like Marlon Pie, Kyohei, and, Clock. But then there's folks that like y'all probably never even heard of on our team.
The best Alawi I played by like a huge margin was like someone who worked at Riot, but not on 2XKO. And then they had like a Cyclops Marvel 2 profile picture, and I was like, okay, I see. Do you guys have an idea of the cadence of what character releases will be like post launch?
I think that's something we definitely want to talk about in more detail in the future.
Don't use our current release cadence as a guide for how things are going to go post launch. It'll be faster. One, because we keep getting better at this stuff. And two, you haven't seen everything that we're working on, right?
Is there going to be like an unlock system for like locals or tournament play? I know you said that it's pretty quick to unlock them and stuff, but if you want to run a local, is there like a tournament mode locally that you can turn on or something like that?
We definitely want to do something for TOs, of course. I'll spoil a little bit. You can play any champ in training mode, even if you don't own them. And because we're doing that, that begs the question, if you're like offline, should you just have access to all champs and make it easy for TOs? And that's one of the things we're looking at right now. No matter what, we want to make it easy for you if you're running locals or you're a TO. There's some challenges for us, but I have faith in the team for us to find a good solution there.
And then someone asked about non-Windows versions of the game, like playing the game on things that are not Windows. So like trying to play it on Steam Deck and stuff.
Wow, I don't think we consider that. We have our hands full with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So
it's not something we're looking at right now. We're just like, hey, can we get this to y'all? Like, on these consoles and PC to start, and then we can see what's next.
Yeah, someone says, can I play this on my DS Lite? I don't think so. That might be a little difficult to get it running. Someone asked, will there be game modes at launch that are not playing other humans online or playing local play?
No game modes at launch. We like game modes a lot. Like Shaun said, we're in the world of trying to get this video game to you as soon as possible. And if we added a game mode, it would come to you later. So we figured we'll give you a lot to chew on with these initial 10 champs and deliver game modes to you at some point. We want to do it, not for launch.
I'm also of the opinion that the sooner the game comes out, the better. So as long as it comes out sooner rather than later, I will take. I just want to play the game. I cannot speak to the rest of the world, but that's where I'm at. Someone asked, "Is there a release date?" I don't think a release date has been announced. That's correct, right? Just 2025 is what you guys have said.
Yep.
Oh, 2 questions, interestingly, about training mode stuff. What does the training mode feature set look like? If you didn't play the first Alpha Lab, it's pretty dense. There was a lot of stuff. Has there been things added since then?
There's definitely been some quality of life improvements. We now have like champ specific resources just to make it easier. We have a recording functionality. You have recording slots. Again, I know a lot of this stuff is just basic, but again, just talking about from like Alpha Lab 1 to this upcoming. And then, even smaller things like, hey, you can set, where you want to start off in the stage, but when you reset, it'll stay in that section, in that position.
People ask.
Nothing major that I can remember.
Yeah, people asked if there would be save states and if you guys plan on having replays/replay takeover.
Replays is one that we've talked a lot about. A lot of folks have been like, please give me replays, please give it to me. We've heard a lot of conflicting opinions, though, where folks are like, hey, as long as folks are streaming and making YouTube videos, that's good for me. I think what we're shooting for right now is to have a minimal version of replay system. There's like minimal functionality. There'll be no like takeover or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then I think we're going to make sure that we have the functionality to block others from viewing your replays. So like if you're prepping for a tournament or something like that. But again, it's not this like fully functional thing. It's just enough to see the replays right. as they are and go through them.
Yeah, so regular replay, but not replay takeover, basically.
Yeah. But just to add on that, we have a working prototype of replays. It's not, we know we can do it. We know we want to do it. This is kind of the hard part of the stage of development we're at now, where it's just like everything has a cost. It's not like, do we want replays or not? It's like, how much of a slide in our release date would you take for replays, right? And for replays, we've decided it's 0 days. The things that folks are really excited about with like replays and replay takeovers, like we're excited by that stuff too. This is why we talk to you as much as we can, is to understand what's really, really important, so that we can do things in the right order.
Are there character guides in the game / planned for launch?
No plans for character guides specifically. We at the minimum want to have some tutorials that will just show you some of the base systems in the game so you can get a handle on them. I saw someone mention combo trials in here. I'd be really curious to hear from y'all if like having champion guides versus like combo trials versus other ways to learn are things that folks are interested in.
I think everybody likes combo trials, and I think character guides are also cool. My guess is people like combo trials more than character guides. It looks like that's the answer from my chat. Not the most definitive source of polling, but from my chat, my chat, it seems like they like combo trials more. I think combo trials give you an idea of what to go do with your character more than like keep them out with this move, go in with that move. You know what I mean? Like I think seeing something in action is a little bit easier because you get your hands on it.
Yeah, definitely keep that type of feedback coming because there's so many ways to learn, a fighting game, especially like a team-based one. So we want to hear your thoughts.
Will there be in-game leaderboards or like a player stat API?
Yes to leaderboards, stat API. Not at launch.
Will there be any unique character interactions or voice lines? Yeah, you actually you'll see some unique voice lines that occur during an intro between characters on a team.
Those are in the last Alpha Lab as well. Yeah, she already says hello, Time Child. I heard that one a lot. Oh yeah, someone asked for competitive play. Do you guys want people to play solo, duo? Is it going to be you have to play duo, you have to play solo? Is anything allowed? I think you guys have talked about this before.
Yeah, it's it's mixed mode, solo, duo. So you can do whatever you want. You're playing against people that can do whatever they want. We'll listen to y'all, especially when it comes to how you organize things live. You're running like mixed mode tournaments, solo, duo. We saw a lot of everything actually during Alpha Lab 1, which was really cool. Super Noon and Leffen win the duos tournament, and then in the mixed mode tournament, they played as a duo and they won that as a duo as well. Mm-hmm. Be cool to see.
If we could make y'all like something, we'd say, please like mixed mode play because we think it's sick. Now that said, if that doesn't work competitively for whatever reason, we're not going to do something dumb. But like to be clear, like we like the new kind of competitive formats and stories that mixed mode enables and hopes that it does well. Mm-hmm. You tell us.
We had a playtest a long time ago. We brought like 9-ish like high-level players in to play the game, and it was like day 1 play solo, day 2 play duo, and pick someone to duo with, and then Day 3, you could play whatever you want. And at the end of day 3, you're like, hey, final day, we're going to have a tournament. Everybody anonymously like fill out this form if you want to play solo or duo in the tournament. And it was so sick because half the group was like, I'm going to play solo. I actually expected everybody to play solo because there's a lot of pride in the room. You know, nobody wanted to lose. A lot of sweat happening. The other half of the group picked duos. There's 2 individuals where one person said, yeah, I want to duo with my partner. And the other person said, no, I want to go solo. And it ended up being that duo person found a different duo and met their former duo partner that went solo in the tournament and got revenge on them. And like that storyline was so sick. Like just the yelling and the trash talk. And the actual finals of that tournament was solo versus duo, and the solo barely won. And I really mean barely won. And it was that's like when we chatted and we experienced that, chatted with everybody, that's when we knew it was like pretty magical.
I think both are really fun. The fear, I think, for most people probably is that people won't play as much duos, right? But like people will run duos only tournaments and stuff, I think, to fill that gap if that's the case. So like I personally am not too worried about it. But like, yeah, like you guys mentioned, you can always change it up if there's some necessary reason to, right? Yeah, someone asked, is there random matchmaking for duo partners?
No, but when you're in like say you're in casual lobby, you can ask someone to duo.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can just become your duo partner. We decided to start, without that because it takes a bit of time to get that synergy. And having even a little bit of context with someone, we felt is pretty important to start that journey. At least for now, we can of course change things as we learn more. But yeah, in Alpha Lab 1, we saw a lot of like whenever random folks would duo up, if they didn't know each other, it often happened after a match. Like maybe they had a close match or they had a long set, and then someone be like, yo, that was fun. Do you want a duo? So there was already some context built up that really helped smooth out some rough edges as they try to find their synergy. There were some really cool stories where people played a long set, duoed, and then they duoed the rest of Alpha Lab 1. And that was actually really cool to see as well.
Yeah, I can see if it was random duo matchmaking as well, that your experience on that is probably a very different. If you lose, it's like, ooh, this person stinks. But if you win, you're like, okay, all right, cool. Like, and then maybe that other person is like, man, I had to carry that person. I don't want to play with you anymore. So like it could create like an immediate sharpness that's like not as cool as like you and your friend choosing to duo together.
We've definitely seen people start as a duo and it didn't work out and they broke the duo partnership and then just fought each other in a 1v1.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny too.
Somebody brought up changes to Ahri. There's lots of gameplay changes to the characters that were in the first Alpha Lab to now, correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't say super significant or massive changes, but more like balance changes and things of that nature. Like Ahri's like S1, 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 straight orb, then jumps in here and shoots a down forward one. But now she shoots an orb straight across. That down forward one pops you up. So it's a little bit different of a situation that she's creating there. And the conversions are different as well, depending on the spacing.
I'm sure lots of things have changed and then will change again from now until release. So, that's how video games are. Any random person who says, why haven't you added X champion? There's like 170 of 100. Dude, that's why. Is there plans for an official release of the soundtrack? I did notice there was a cool tune at the end of the video today that we got to hear for like 15 seconds.
Is that a Eugene question?
I think it's kind of a me question. I mean,
yeah,
if you guys want to see stuff like that, like let us know. That's well within Riot's wheelhouse, right? So that's the kind of thing that we can do if there's interest for it. Absolutely.
Interesting question. Will there be 2XKO original characters?
Man, we talk about that a lot. If we were to do that, we would not be making someone's favorite champion.
Yeah, there's just so many to choose from already, right?
Exactly. There's so many excellent choices. At some point, when that may change, but like for a while, I think we're just going to focus on the League IP.
When you are going to play the video game online, do you choose like which server you connect to? Is that an option that you'll ever have, or is it you just join a lobby with similarly skilled and connectable opponents generally?
It's the latter.
Okay. I'm not sure if I have anything else.
We can get out of here then. Hey, Sajam, thanks for hosting us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by.
This is honestly like the fun part of the job is just talking about like the work, because we don't get to do that very often. So it really was fun. Everyone who gets into Alpha Lab 2, really appreciate your feedback. As you can see from round 1 to 2, the game has changed a lot. And so you really can make a difference. So thanks in advance for that.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for doing an hour-long video and then Q&Ing for another hour and a half. That's a long time.
Thank you, chat. Really appreciate all the amazing questions and commentary in there.
Yeah, I can't wait to play the game in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. I'll catch you gamers there. Have a good one.
All right.
Take it easy.
Later. See y'all. Peace.
I really did summon John Riot. They asked. To be honest, I felt satiated by the video. But you guys were like, oh, I would like to ask more questions. And they're like, dude, is there more questions? I was like, sure. You know, should I ask about non-human champs? I don't think Darius or Darius players are human. So it depends on your thoughts about what humans are, maybe. No, I mean, that kind of stuff, like, I don't know. Like, it probably depends entirely on your preference for that kind of thing. They don't make as many... They make a lot of humanoids compared to non-humanoids. Probably for a reason people probably like them more generally. It's random that they came onto my stream and said how many characters are going to be in the launch game of 2xKO. I was not expecting that. Also probably gives you an idea of what I was gaming on when I was over there. 10 characters plus Kobe Bryant. I don't think there's going to be a real life human in there. When I went in and played, I didn't play Jinx at all, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I played her for like 5 minutes and then I played all the other stuff. 3 champions that are not announced are the ones that I played much more. Jinx is like cool looking, but she's not really a me character, I think. The way a game like this is, they're going to be cranking these bad boys out, right? So it's what we all kind of expected in terms of release schedule and cadence, which is the game needs to come out with a video game that you can play against other human and like functionally works, and you can get costumes and stuff for your characters, but the primary thing is you play other humans in a fighting game with your friend or against your friends or multiple whatever, and then just go, right? Like, I want to just play the video game. I want to play the game today. You know what I mean? Blink 15 times if they put Jhin in the game. You guys last off blink 1 for this, blink 2 for that, blink 5 for this, blink 7 for this. Is this character in the game? You'll see them when they're out. You don't want to be spoiled anyway, right? You'd rather just not know. It's cool of them to hop on. I appreciate their time. My hands are just like, give it to me. I don't care what state it's in. Just hand me the game. Like, the gameplay changes look awesome. The video game is super fun to play. I just want to play it. You know, that's like all, like, just put the game in the bag. That's how I feel. I just want to play it really, 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 really bad. 2 cats for the price of 1. This is 1/5 of the 2xKO launch roster. Guys, I didn't know that they were going to come on my stream and announce that the game had 10 characters. I was like, hey, you know, there's probably a lot of stuff you guys can't answer. So like, you know, and they're like, fuck it, let's just say some shit. And I was like, oh, yeah, a lot of people are real mad about it. Do I wish it was more? Yes. But would I wait to have more characters? No, I want the game out like today. I want the game out like right now. I assume his Riot is like, they seem very bad at building games, just in general across all their games. The specialty they have, I'm playing with the cat with the ribbon, if you're wondering why I'm whipping a ribbon at you. The thing that they're good at is keeping games up. Like, once the game is up, like maintaining it and adding content to it. And I suspect with the skins that we've seen already, how the pace of everything is coming out, I suspect that like once the game comes out, they're gonna be like, boom, character, boom, character, boom, character, and it's gonna like start churning. At least they're better. Cause like, I can deal with 10 characters because I played the Alpha Lab with 6. I can deal with 10 characters for like a month or 2, but then like I'm gonna want more stuff. So you just need the like pace of content to match that, and I think you'll probably be okay. Because 10 characters on launch is like quite a bit, and most people haven't dabbled with it, and the game will have new balance, and you know, there'll be new characters we haven't tried yet and stuff, right? I know that some people are like, I would rather the game take longer and have more characters, but there's no way I think you should wait more. There's so many fighting games coming out and so much in the market that like, it's time to go. The longer it's not out, the more you feel like this shit's never gonna come out. And that feeling is not good, because then it creates a sense of like, every time you see something about it, you just think, oh, well, who cares what they're announcing? Right? Like, because it's never going to come out. Like, yeah, if Silk Song is going to release a trailer, who cares? Because like, when am I going to get to play it? I don't care if there's a trailer for it until I get to play it, right? If it's out with 10 characters now, then it could be out with 11 characters next month, and it could be out with 12 characters in 2 more months, and it could be out with 13. You know what I mean? Like, we can start to really have something going on here. The thing you say is, I think it will leave a terrible impression to casual players that way. The FGC can deal with it, but other people can't. Like, when Valorant came out, it didn't have very many agents. It doesn't have anything. I mean, that game doesn't even have single player content, right? Valorant still might not have replays. Does it not have replays still? Deadlock has replays. It just came out and they started like cranking out agents, and then like more and more stuff came out, and like that's how it was. I think that's sort of the expectation for most people with what it's going to be like, right? If you're expecting the game to come out with like world tour mode and this and that, and it's not how Riot does games generally. They release games that have like nothing but like you play other people competitively online, like casually or ranked modes. and like compete against other people. And like that's the core of the games that like all their games basically, right? If you're a fighting game fan, it probably makes no sense to you. You're like, how are they going to keep casuals if they don't release with lots of single player content and all this other stuff? They don't do that shit for their other games either, so